Okay, the districts are where the 73 districts are where the people live. If you want to be equitable, spread the money across. So we will go back to the system of enabling legislative projects. The lawmaker should not use his salary or his business money to build schools and hospitals. That's government's responsibility, and so legislative projects must be provided for us to do that. And of course, we're not saying we want to give that money to the members of the legislature. The system is we have the base, which is an executive agency that will procure for these projects that have been designated in each district by the lawmakers. If we do not do legislative projects by district, you will continue to have uneven development where Monserrato County take the lion's share, or counties with big votes take the lion's share. That's not how development should be done. The child in Representatives is going to District number 2 in Bois should have an equal right to education, quality education, as the child on Broad Street in Monrovia. And so we will vigorously advocate and allocate for legislative projects in the budget. We want to move next year to a more program-based budgeting system, and that program-based budgeting system is going to encompass intensive legislative spending in each district for development, for education, and social welfare.
Okay, what we've noticed in this budget that is before you currently is that there has been reduction in most of the allocations for line administration agencies compared to the past budget. Now, with these reductions, is it feasible that the government will be able to meet its intended targets?
That's why I said the budget as submitted does not appear to be capable of running the government. I have received, through meetings and letters, at least $100+ million worth of additional requests from entities who have said our budget is not sufficient to carry on our assigned tasks. Of course, my first question always is, did you tell the president? The president submitted the budget. You are an executive agency. Did you inform the president that your spending entity was not adequately funded? You know, I get varying answers to that. So we look at those. It's obviously we want to fund it. We want to make sure that government works in the interest of the Liberian people. And so this exercise will begin to make sure we do that. You know, my Ways, Means and Finance chair who just arrived talked about revenue envelope. The Minister of Finance talked about revenue envelope. All the financial experts talked about revenue envelope, but we're going to push them to find more revenue so that we are able to fund government and fund some of what is necessary for our people.
And that was my next question, because you are proposing a provision for legislative projects in an envelope that can't even cover what we already have stipulated. And we are wondering, where is the extra funds going to come?
No, so we'll do some shifting, right? We're going to go through the budget. There are some undefined things, something like what is called deficit pool or other things. It has $9 million in it. There will be some shifting, but clearly there will be need to find additional revenue. And there are revenue loopholes. I'm very happy that the LRA boss said he can collect $1 billion, and since he's collecting the $1 billion, we're going to spend $1 billion.
Okay. The budget is basically the idea of the president and his government. Now, the president has had priority issues through his arrest agenda. Does the budget represent, or does the budget represent the priority of the president, especially with his arrest agenda? Or maybe we can narrow it down to his 100 days deliverables. The no car stuck in the mud concept. Does the budget support that?
Well, I think the expenditure portion of the hearing will reveal that. I went to law school because I failed math, so don't take my own budget analysis for it. But for what I'm seeing, right? When you say no car stuck in the mud, which is part of the president's agenda, I don't see a funding for it. Okay. Now there are previous funding for road network throughout the country on contracts that have been let or on agreements that have been made. But one of the things you have to understand, the Southeast Road, the coastal highway has to be funded. If we really believe in no car stuff in the mud, it has to be funded. The Southeast sits right next to Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is the fastest growing economy in West Africa. You want to be able to take advantage of the trade with Africa, with Ivory Coast. You want vehicles coming from Ivory Coast with goods to reach Monrovia within a matter of days, not a matter of weeks or months, because they are stuck in the mud. So we will start with the no car stuck in the mud policy, which is the president's policy, the present program. We will fund that.
Lastly on this topic, at least for now, the national budget as it is primarily sponsored by or through domestic revenue generation. Just revealed that the head of the LRA has said he's able to collect $1 billion. Would that take place in this fiscal year or fiscal years to come?
Well, I'm sure when the LRA boss was speaking, at least from my perspective, I think he was talking in the context of this year. If he doesn't collect 800 billion, I mean 1 billion, if he collects 800 million, it'll still be good. You know, it will still be a positive addition. But from what I have learned from him and his utterances is that he's going to collect more.
Do we have external revenue coming into the budget other than domestic revenue generation?
Oh, I'm sure you're going to have our usual partner development funds that will come in. But usually those are targeted, is really for general government purposes, to the extent that there's some for general government purposes it will be applied.
Are those hinged on any prerequisites?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Generally, when those funds come in, they are tied to specific programs.
Well, I ask because much of the conversation has been that partners are demanding certain things before supporting us through our budget or through other forms, and that's why my colleague Jerome Kamwe will pick up from here in the conversation around the World Economic Crimes Court.
Okay, good morning once again, Honorable Speaker, and good morning to our people in Radio Land. Liberia is not different from many countries that have suffered from war, and since the end of our crisis, the issue of War and Economic Crimes Court will be the debate amongst us and even on the global stage. There have been attempts many times here in the legislature to push the idea of accountability through the War and Economic Crimes Court means. But the different thing that has happened on your level is that the issue of War and Economic Crimes Court has seen a lot of the meaning has appeared on the plenary floor, which is the most deliberate way legislators do business. So the question is, what has happened in the past that didn't happen this time around, for which we were successful in ensuring that the issue of War and Economic Crimes Court hit the plenary floor? And the debate to that question is, how did you manage the bipartisan spirit, so to speak, to give it the kind of speed it got to which way it is today?
Okay, so I'm not going to talk about the past, but I can talk about one thing. Let me talk about the 55th House of Representatives. It's made up of determined, independent mind, that men and women who look at broad range of issues, take their job seriously, and provide leadership. And I think it's leadership, not from the Speaker, but from the House of Representatives, that have made this issue front and center. If you put 50 war crimes resolutions on the floor in this House of Representatives, it will pass. It will pass overwhelmingly. They are determined that Liberia works best, is peaceful when there is social justice and peace at home. Part of that is accountability. Part of that is that we cannot allow impunity to go. Imagine a UN report that says since the end of the Liberian Civil War, not one person has been made to be accountable for actions that they did. So all of those who died, all of the 250 persons, are we telling them your life didn't matter, it was useless, it's a casualty of what we wanted to achieve today? It can't be. We have to, as a people, come to grips, no matter how ugly, no matter how sad no matter how painful it is. We will not move on as a country. We will have all these things buried unless we have some semblance of accountability. And this house is determined that will happen.
As perceived by many people out there, was there any voice in your ears that we didn't hear, or was there any hand shaking you that we didn't see that caused you to be, that kind of fast in the process?
Yeah, we listen to some of the things that say, oh, the people were signing because they were paid to sign. That is disgusting. That is an affront to the House of Representatives. Nobody received a dime to sign any resolution here. Those who sign out of conviction, and they continue to remain committed to this process. So no, there was no one whispering in our ears. There was no one paying us to do that which we believe we ought to give and do for the Liberia.
Were you threatened by some big power?
No, but no big power will threaten me or threaten us. We did not, as far as I know, participate in any wrongful. There's nothing to threaten about. This is a Liberian issue. This is an issue. Yes, there are international partners that are concerned. That look, in all civil conflicts, at the end of them, there is some kind of accountability. What makes Liberia different? Why are you behaving in a different fashion? A lot of the lawlessness you have in this country is because impunity reigns. And this House of Representatives is saying no more.
Locally, there are some compatriots of yours who took back, who played major roles, and they are, for lack of a better word, threatening the peace. Indirectly though, to say that the idea of war, economic crimes, quote, might trigger instability in the country. Do you care to pay attention to that?
Oh, that's just puffing. I think Liberian people, even those who were not allowed during the war, have come to the realization that peace is better than war because life is better than death. Nobody will go to no war because somebody has been made to be held accountable for something he or she did in the past. That is just puffing. That is an attempt to scare. Nothing is going to happen. The peace of Liberia will continue because the Liberian people themselves are determined to keep the peace. And those who are supposed to be held accountable will be held accountable. And nothing bad will happen in this country, other than the fact that people will wring their hands. This is not an issue where one person is responsible. This is not a NIMBA issue. How many? I think the Mayans were the first victims of this civil conflict when their children, infants, and others, horrible things happen to them. They deserve justice. So this is not an issue of NIMA or Grand Judea or what have you. This is a Liberian issue. This is an issue of accountability. And that's how we're going to look at it. And because of that, people will be held accountable and nothing will disturb the peace here in this country.
There are those who believe that you are buying time by starting a resolution instead of just properly build on the floor to just get everything done.
Okay, to quote Dixon Siebold's words, I'm a serious lawyer. So I'm not going to put a bill on the floor that is not well researched and well written. To do that is going to take time. But before you spend your time and your energy into drafting a statute on war and economic crimes, you must first have an intent. The country, the legislature must first say, we intend to do this, and this is how we want to do it. The executive has to buy into it. Now that the legislature has spoken and is going over to the executive, we can now see the green light to say, okay, let's get international resources, let's muster all of our collective minds and put together a statute, which is going to take some time to draft.
Honorable Speaker, you are up there, we are down, and we are close to the people. One of the arguments on the street.
I dispute that. I'm close to
One of the arguments is that the whole concept of war and economic crimes court, besides the security fear, there is this concern about funding the process. Where are the monies going to come from? Where are the funds going to come from to fund the World Economic Crimes Court? Have you studied all of those behind the scenes before speeding with this process?
Yes, I think if you see the resolution, especially the one that was drafted by the Senate, it has a roadmap on contacting international partners And I think international funding will be available for that. There's international funding available for social justice and these kind of processes. And through our own budgetary process, will be able to fund it.
Okay.
Justice, it should not be expected to be cheap if we have to pay for it. We must.
Okay, lastly, before I go over to Obed, besides playing your role as speaker, that's an official duty. You, as a Liberian citizen, J. Fonati Koffa, what do you feel in your heart when it comes to the whole process of accountability for war in Liberia, atrocities committed? What do you feel?
Well, as a Liberian citizen, I think it's a conversation that needs to be held. It's an issue of accountability that needs to be proffered, and prosecutions and accountability needs to happen.
Did you experience any personal loss that you found difficult to forget?
I thank God in my immediate family, we had no losses. My wife lost her father. These are, in any Liberian family, you will find these horrible things happen. The minute you talk about 1990, you have Liberians that can walk to you and tell you personal stories. They can even identify the people who killed their relative, who's walking around with us. What kind of people are we? Okay? And we say bygones should be bygones. If somebody ready to kill you and we tell you, say, when you die, we let bygones be bygones, will you like it? Because we can't dictate people out of the grave to ask their opinion. Somebody got to talk for them. And we will, regardless of what pains we suffered or did not suffer during this period.
Okay, at this juncture, I'll go back to Fidel.
Thank you very much. Just in case you've just joined us, remember we're in conversation with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Councillor Jonathan Fonati Koffa. This program is being aired on Voice of Liberia 104.1 and relayed on Hot FM 107.9, OK FM 99.5, Joy FM 101.5, ABC Radio 105.7, Bana FM 98.5. And also visually, we are on Spoon TV, Front Page Africa TV, Today Liberia TV, Vision TV. And we also been relayed in Magibi County on 87.9 Voice of Liberia, Bon County 90.7 Voice of Liberia as well, and in Grand Crew County, Atina Radio and Voice of Grand Crew. District number 17, Voice of District number 17 is also relaying this show. There is an article here written by the editorial team at Front Page Africa, and I thought to read this and tie it in with the gains that have been made by the legislature. And because we are interviewing the speaker, specifically the speaker, because he's talking about his leadership, and it's titled A New Dawn for Justice. Koffa's leadership delivers for war victims in Liberia. And it reads, under the resolute leadership of Speaker J. Fonati Koffa, Liberia stands on the brink of a historic milestone in its pursuit of justice and reconciliation. The imminent establishment of a war and economic crimes court, propelled by Speaker Koffa's unwavering commitment, signifies a profound shift towards accountability and healing of the victims of Liberia's tumultuous past. For too long, the wounds of Liberia's civil war have festered, leaving countless individuals scared by the horrors they endured. Economic crimes have further deepened the suffering of the Liberian people, perpetuating injustice, undermining the nation's efforts to rebuild and move forward. But now, thanks to Speaker Koffa's decisive leadership, a beacon of hope has emerged on the horizon. The concurrence of the Liberian Senate with the House resolution is cause for celebration among the population, particularly for those who have long awaited justice. Martin Luther King's voice, encapsulating the sentiments of many, as the priest Speaker Koffa's transformative leadership, recognizing his pivotal role in delivering the long overdue justice for the people of Liberia. Speaker Koffa's determination has defied skeptics and naysayers who doubted the willingness of the Liberian legislature to confront the ghosts of the past. In the face of threats and political ramifications, Speaker Koffa stood firm, rallying support within the House of Representatives to pave the way for this historic resolution. His steadfastness sends a clear message. Liberia is committed to upholding human rights and ensuring that the atrocities of the past are never repeated. While this milestone marks a significant step forward, the journey toward justice is far from over. Collaboration with international partners will be essential in designing a robust legal framework for the court, one that guarantees fair trials, that is, while upholding the rights of both victims and the accused. Additionally, securing international financial support will be crucial in facilitating the court's operation and boosting national security to safeguard Liberia's stability. As Liberia embarks on this path towards justice, let us not forget the sacrifices of those who have fought tirelessly for accountability and reconciliation. Speaker Koffa's leadership serves as a beacon of hope, illuminating the way forward towards a future where justice prevails and peace flourishes in Liberia. That is an article from the Front Page Africa newspaper written by its editorial board. I think this is a commendable feat, as we've always said, and Liberia is moving towards the path of ensuring that justice is served to victims of our long years of civil conflict. Now we shift over to Tatas Desi, who will quiz the speaker on the issue of asset recovery.
Thank you, Fidel. Mr. Speaker, recently the executive constituted a committee, asset recovery team, and it all gears towards making the reform that your leadership is making here also. Do you care to give us, if any, an update to where we are from the legislature point of view?
What do you mean from the legislature point of view? I'm sorry.
In terms of progress being made.
Progress being made with
So the asset recovery team is on its
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was one of the first who welcomed the president executive order forming the asset recovery team.
Okay.
Because I think it's part of the accountability process. I think it's an anti-corruption measure. Sadly, the asset recovery team turned itself into a witch hunt organization, right? And you can see by recent posture in court, they got a slap in the face when they attempted to appropriate private property that belonged to a former government official, Ms. Fina Ono, one of these guys of asset recovery. I would advise anyone, and even the team, to read April 24th commentary in Front Page Africa by Rufus Berry. It's a primer in how to conduct asset recovery. Asset recovery should not be my man, economic freedom fighter, going out there on the street and lining up somebody's private property and say he collecting it in the name of asset. I mean, that's just a joke, okay? And the court slapped that down. There are processes that should happen. The first thing I think the president was ill-advised to limit the period of asset recovery, okay? Then that means you really go after only one group of people, one administration, and that is not correct. There is this theory about, oh, we did it because we wanted to limit it to the statute of limitations. Those are good lawyers over there. The president legal advisor is a good lawyer. Councilor Martin is a good lawyer. But they are wrong when they say statute of limitations, because statute of limitations begins when you discover the act. Okay? So you have time. It should be an open-ended recovery process, but more than that, I think I would advise the president, and vice president legal advisor, to go back and address the asset recovery regime and put it into a more professional standard. Procure international help from those who are experienced in doing it, like Grant Thornton, that found $8 million that have been sitting in a bank account since 1979, I believe, that belongs to the Republic of Liberia. Those are the people you get and say, come help us develop an asset recovery regime, which is very important. So I think you should take it into a professional level. And when you take it to a professional level, you less personalize or politicize it. It doesn't become a partisan issue where you go run after filling a few taxes. Okay, so you withheld an income for a day. Huh? Who pays? This is a Liberian citizen. Who pays? If you're going after private property on suspicion, first you must have reasonable suspicion. You must have probable cause. You should go get a search warrant, and a search warrant to say the places to be searched and the things to be seized. That is the law. That is the law. It's not to go set a roadblock to collect somebody's taxes that they're making their living from. When you are in government, you better be under obligation to make sure that you find, you run to a bank, you go, you make deal with somebody say, bring in these cars for me, I will work and pay, because you're not going to be in government all the time. You're not going to be in government all the time. So you have an obligation. So somebody goes and make deal with somebody to bring cars for them and they do work and pay on it. Then you go and say, because the person was in government, the government asset. Based on like people calling you the rumors, you know the amount of rumors that go around left and right about people. That is not professional. Come on. The whole asset recovery process has derailed. I think the president should go back and reconstitute the executive order, make it more expensive, because it's an important anti-corruption tool. If someone stole from the government 20 years ago, they're not free because 5 years now passed. So you're telling me you can still just wait when 5 years pass, you're free. That's not, it can't be the concept of asset recovery. What I'm happy of is the president has asked for $1.5 million for this process. They're coming before, during the expenditure side of the budget, coming before the committee on ways, means the joint committee on ways, means and finance committee hearing, and they will have the opportunity to explain. Maybe there's something I'm missing. They will have the opportunity to explain and justify why they should be giving $1.5 million to go after the Wheeler administration.
And Mr. Speaker, this is a whole team work. Of course, the three branches of government working towards this asset recovery team and have accountabilities in government. The fact that you discover or point out some of these loopholes that you're talking about, is that plan that you work with the executive in terms of giving pieces of advice from a legal point of view as you are outlined, so that we may not have this mistake that we're having from the initial stage?
Oh, I always, I'm not one in my present capacity to be talking a lot, right? Most of my conversations and most of my actions will be behind the scenes in trying to make sure government works. There will be time like this in which I will make vocal my opinions on these matters. But having said that, we have to get the wheels of government going. We have to make sure we do things in the right place, in the right way. We oftentimes do our best to consult with the executive on actions that have been taken. At times where we think it's important for us to voice out our opinions, we will do so. But most of the time, we work in a typical government fashion, consultation and coordination with the executive.
Speaker, do you believe that the asset recovery gets it in the way of the LSCC's work? What's your opinion on that?
I would say it's getting in the way of the LSCC's work. The LSCC is more current and ongoing, to be involved in the fight against corruption. I think asset recovery is a defined task where people go out there and identify sources of government assets and attempt to recover them. One of the things I would advise those involved in asset recovery is start from the GAC reports. Start from the GAC reports. That's a good and defined source of government accountability. If you use these reports, you'll be able to follow the asset recovery trail very easily.
We've had a history of this same asset recovery committee in time past, and one could safely say that we did not achieve the goal intended. Do you believe that we can achieve it this time around? No,
the asset recovery in the past failed, and the asset recovery of now will fail because it's the same thing. You're not putting it in a more professional manner. You're not putting a professional body together a semi-political body trying to conduct a very professional exercise in terms of identifying and recovering ill-gotten assets. I think we should adjust the modus operandi. I think the president should go back, reconstitute its mandate in terms, and maybe reconstitute some of the players, get a professional company or firm to assist in making this recovery with an international scope and experience. And I think you will be able to find that in that process you recover more in that asset recovery process than you will in the process in times past and in the immediate past.
And this is your area. I'd like to go back to the court document that you talked about earlier. The Justice in Chambers Yusuf Kaba issue, declined to sign the writ of prohibition.
Sure.
And that is in the public. In legal terms, what does it mean for the asset recovery team?
It means I'm not a football player. I don't know which legal term to put it in, but it means they got slam dunked, if you will. That's what the Justice in Chamber said. Where you ran, you got somebody's private property, you expropriated for a day or two, and then the court come and tell you, and then not even the court, you yourself come and say, oops, we made a mistake. Really? So that's what happened. The asset recovery has derailed. I think we need to go back to the drawing board as a government and make sure it works, because that's what our people expect.
Yes, I know my colleague talked about the war and economic crimes. Before I give the mic back to Fidel, I just want us to zero in on this issue. Some of the law, this Capitol Hill passed a law, and it is being debated currently in the public that amnesty law, it prevents, if we endeavor to have this war and economic crimes code preparation to a full extent, they may not, and it may not have effect on them because they passed that law in time past. Does it have any bearing if at all we achieve this resolution and subsequently the bill, with those people who are saying that we passed the law and this current war crime code will not have bearing on it, affect them also, because this is the defense they are putting out?
That's a silly argument. It's an argument that no real legal scholar that went to any real law school will even advance. The fact that there is a law that was passed that granted amnesty is on its face unconstitutional. You know why? The group or person or branch with the power to grant amnesty or pardon is the executive branch of government. That, it's the president. I'm sorry, not the executive branch, but the president of Liberia. And it was not granted to the president by some statute. It was granted to the president by the Constitution. He is the only one that can grant pardon. So until Joseph Boyka, president, pardons these people, no statute can pardon them or grant them amnesty. They remain subject to the laws of Liberia until the president steps up to the plate and say, in the interest of Liberia, I'm granting these people pardon. Any other law to the contrary, not understand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I turn the mic over to Fidel.
Okay, we step up to Obed Jiba, who will deal with the issue, quiz you about the conduct of your colleague, Honorable Yeke Koluba. Obed.
And just before going to that, we also, in this clear thing, seek your opinion on any NGO in the back funding the process of the World Economic Crimes Code as alleged by Senator Prince Johnson.
There has been no NGO that have funded in this legislature any activity here for any matter whatsoever, let alone World Economic Crimes Code. We have, as anyone who has expressed interest in the work we're doing, because we are a public body, we have welcomed and we have discussed with them. We met officially with Ambassador Shak, who is an official of the U.S. government, not an NGO. We also met with Mr. Alan White, who is a prosecutor in this arena before, and we discussed modalities, structures on the surface. We have not been funded by any organization, nor have we been influenced or forced by any organization.
Does signing of the resolution mean the establishment of the port?
No, the signing of the resolution means the acceptance of the roadmap to lead to the establishment of a court. There still has to be a statute, an actual statute that will say we are establishing a court. Here is his mandate, his powers in this jurisdiction.
Honorable Speaker, I'm concerned about what was revealed to the Liberia people through District 10 lawmaker Koffa. He talked about money from the Ministry of State, $4,500 US in coupon to certain lawmakers to get furniture from J-Mart Business Center for your removal. What is your official response to that was heard in the public that took over the Liberian media?
Okay, so I will tell you what I believe and what I know. We know from the audio from J-Mart that the individual identified that it was his signature, one of the proprietors. The representative alleged that these coupons came from the Ministry of State. The Ministry of State has denied that. I do not believe any of this had to do with my removal. I do find it troubling that more than one lawmaker has indicated that he or she received these coupons from the Ministry of State. I, on my own, talked to the minister and others at the Ministry of State who denied that these coupons come from the Ministry of State. You know, what is troubling is to the extent that there were coupons given to certain lawmakers, is troubling. Okay, we interact through our budgetary process. When we passed the 41 million, we made sure in there we allocated $5,000 per lawmaker for furniture and offices. So if other lawmakers got 4,500, that's 9,500 to one group at the expense of another group.
How do you describe that?
Oh, I don't want to describe it because the words would be too strong. But let me finish my thought. I think, and I've advised the executive mansion, it's something that needs to be investigated. Okay? I don't have a complaint on the floor from any of my colleagues. I'm not really wanting to entertain it because they have mixed it in with speaker removal. I don't want to think I'm fighting anybody over my removal. Any day, any group of lawmakers here have 41 signatures, I will go over there, park my office, and tell all of you thank you, right? So that should not be the issue. It has not come to the House as an issue. I don't think it should be, but I think the executive branch is under obligation to do some internal investigation as to whether or not indeed these vouchers came from there. So far they have denied it. I have no reason not to believe their denial, but I'm telling you, more than one lawmaker have shown me these vouchers and they are trouble.
At the level of the legislature, after the allocation of $5,000 for furniture of each lawmaker's office, and you have heard in the public, authenticated by a private business, that there are additional funds to these very lawmakers, what does it mean for the House, or how do you, under your Gaboshe, intend to proceed with such an action?
Okay, so as I said, I intend to do nothing. I don't have a complaint at the floor. What I did was to advise the executive mansion to run a thorough investigation to make sure indeed that did not come from them as they have done.
Honorable Yeke Poluba also had a press conference in recent time, and there was a communication from the chair on executive, Honorable Emmanuel Down, asking plenary to investigate his action, what is seen as embarrassing to the honorable legislature, the House of Representatives to be specific, with his exchanges to the first family of the Republic of Nigeria. And that particular communication was endorsed and asked that the Committee on Rules, Order and Administration investigate the lawmaker. Honorable Speaker, what's your take on that? As others in the public have also condemned and talk about the action of Representative Yeke Poluba, bringing disrepute to this legislature.
Okay, so Honorable Poluba, I respect for his advocacy. He has had throughout the years good advocacy on transparency and accountability by us in the legislature and the executive. I have a friend who always tells me, if you are right today, you'll be right tomorrow. Honorable Poluba didn't just get up last Sunday He started to rain insults and invectives on the first family. But Yeke started this 6 years ago. Most people want to forget. Most people want to forget the things that were said about the president of Liberia, President George Weah. Most people want to forget the things that were said about the vice president of the Republic of Liberia. Everyone was silent, everyone was enjoying it, everyone was taking pictures with Honorable Koffa. He was the hero. I told him then that he was wrong. And I will tell Honorable Koffa now that he is wrong. And there's a letter on the floor. I mean, the matter has been referred to. I will refrain from giving my opinion on what action should be taken. But it was wrong back then. We should stop in this country encouraging wrong simply because it is being done to our opponent. George Weah is used to that kind of thing, so he didn't, even if it hurt, he man up to it. You know, people hear George Weah lose football game and they go on radio, they were cussing him out. So he long been used to that kind of thing from Liberian people. But now we have, this was an assault, even during his time, on the institution of the presidency. It was not George Weah. And to the extent that you celebrated it, you listened to him, you took picture with him, you held him. So Honorable Koffa does not believe that he's doing anything different than he's done in the past. It is you, Liberia, that have shifted. Because the president occupying the office is different. And that is the part that is wrong on our part. It was wrong when he did it to President Weah and Vice President Joe Howard Taylor. It is wrong when he did it to President Boycott and his wife. It was particularly disgusting all around. Okay, that's my personal opinion. What plenary is going to do is up to plenary. But again, I would advise my friend, I have done numerous times in my office. Do not let your rhetoric and your presentation spoil your decent advocacy on behalf of your constituents. And to Liberians, this has to be a lesson. Because someone is doing something wrong to my political opponent, I can't heal it. Because that person will soon do it to me. Remember that very well.
Honorable Speaker, how are you coping with his style of representation? I remember it was a tough one with your predecessor, Speaker Koffa. How are you coping with Representative Yeke Koffa and his activity on the floor of the plenary?
Okay, so I have one set of principles. All of these lawmakers were elected by their people. They have a right to have their representation heard. I do not deny, if you notice, the agenda is very long. I think we ran out of alphabets the last time on the agenda. Okay, the agenda is long because everybody want to put a letter there. And I'm not going to sit in my office because I'm speaker and say this person letter will go, that person letter, everything will come on. If Honorable Koffa has a representation to be made on the floor, he's going to be allowed to do it. Okay, I'm not going to censure him. I do not have the power to censure any lawmaker. Only plenary has to do that. And again, as I told you, I respect a lot of time his advocacy. It makes sense when he calls us to order on our behavior in terms of how we manage public funds. You know, he is right when he says those things. But you have to say it according to our rules and do it according to our rules in a fashion that does not bring disrepute to the House of Representatives. Such language, such utterances, such unsubstantiated claims raise the issue of a violation of our rules, and that's why rules for administration is investigated.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Again, we've reached the halfway mark, and we are in conversation with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Councillor Jonathan Fonati Koffa. He's speaking on a wide range of national issues as you've listened to him. And this program is being broadcast on Voice of Liberia 104.1 and relayed on Hot FM 107.9, OK FM 99.5, Joy FM 101.5, ABC Radio 105.7, Banana FM 98.5, Voice of District number 17, and Magibi County branch of Voice of Liberia on 87.9 and Bong 90.7 respectively. And a Voice of Grand Crew is also relaying this program. Radio Atina is also relaying this program. And our visual representatives are Spoon TV, Front Page Africa TV, Today Liberia TV, and Vision TV. We also have representatives from various radio stations who are covering this program. Honorable Speaker, what is Liberia's current standing on regional and global parliamentary affairs?
We are pleased to have selected able-bodied lawmakers. I think our group just came from ECOWAS, headed by Honorable Snow. We have Honorable Tara Wombe. We have Honorable Mama Briggs and Honorable Enders, who represent us at ECOWAS. We have a group ready to go to other inter-parliamentary bodies. We are pleased to say that we are members in good standing of most parliamentary bodies, and we are participating well in our stature discussions.
How are we benefiting from these representations?
Oh, we are benefiting, number one, because we project our legislature, we project our country, and we benefit more because our colleagues come back with more experience and more knowledge on how to conduct their affairs.
Okay, Leslie.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, the budget, please.
Begin?
Yeah.
Please. Is the most important thing as far as we're concerned.
Sure.
Few issues. Youth development. The budget as it is, youth groups like FLY, the Manuel Youth Parliament, and other youth groups have had their appropriations or allocations reduced significantly in this budget. What does that say about the government's idea about improving the conditions of young people in Liberia?
We have had the representations from the youth groups. We are going to look at their budgetary allocation. We'll have additional discussion on them. You know, the youthful population is the vast majority of our population. If we cannot cater to them, then we're in trouble. So we will revisit that during the expenditure phase of the budget hearing, and I'm sure on the floor of plenary, something will be done.
The T in arrest stands for tourism. As I went through the pages of the budget, I did not see anything that supports tourism. Now, I mean, what can you say to that with regards to the government? I'm saying the government because you are a part of the government.
Sure.
The government's idea about pushing tourism, especially knowing how it is supposed to provide jobs and bring additional revenue to the country.
I think we will learn more from the budget hearing when the Minister of Information comes up. I see a bill that is floating around here on tourism, so I think that will be addressed during the budget process and subsequently as we advance that part of the arrest agenda.
Okay, Jerome.
Yeah, okay. So, Honorable Speaker, you are an opposition person from the CDC, and you are the Speaker. Joseph Walker is on the Unity Party. The election that brought you to power, the gap or the difference wasn't that much, which shows that the election was heavily contested. How are you faring, being an opposition person and having a president from different parties in the nation? How are you navigating your way, to engender that kind of, I will use the word again, bipartisan in the spirit on the floor of the legislature based on?
I think divided government works. I think to a large extent, if President Walker is successful, it will be because of the House of Representatives and the figure with which we bring to our jobs. We don't necessarily look at ourselves as opposition, but we are citizens, and we are proudly citizens. But we don't bring CDC necessarily to the floor because we have a lot of independents who have coalesced with us in terms of bringing forth to make sure that the government, the administration is scrutinized and the representation of our people are done. I think, again, divided government works. Some of what you will see in the future is because of vigorous debate between the executive and the House of Representatives. The president and myself, we have an excellent relationship. We tend to share vision about where Liberia wants to go. I intend to support that, but we are going to be vigorous in how we get it accomplished. As I told you, this budget is a tool. We will ensure that it is used to develop all of Liberia and not just some of Liberia. We do have, and the one thing I got to say to the president and to the executive manager, anytime I call, they come. Anytime I request an audience with the president, I'm giving it. I speak my mind. Of course, I'm not going to disclose a private conversation between the president and myself. He gives me the opportunity to tell him frankly and honestly my opinion on policy matters. It's up to him to take it. I think I've seen where it has been accepted and implemented, and sometimes not. But that's just the nature of the presidency. He has a lot of advisors, but he does not drown out my voice as an opposition speaker. I think there are some who, in the administration, who would like to drown out that voice, but one of those persons is not the president.
Okay, finally, on the subject from my end, there are millions of questions out there that you don't hear. We hear them.
Sure.
I want to ask one of those questions, one of the speaker. Are you nephew-in-law to President Bouaka? And if so, how is that helping you? You know, how is your uncle-in-law treating you?
That's a personal family matter. But let me just say it. My wife and President Bouaka grew up together. My wife's mother and President grew up in Guami. I think they live with the same family. They had a long history of a brother and sister relationship. So if you hear it, it is from that aspect. When the president and I sit down, we do not talk about nephew-in-law and uncle relationship. We talk about what is best for the people of Liberia, and what is in the interest of Liberia, and that's how we proceed.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, we are about to take calls now, but before then, Liberians are upbeat. The resolution passed by the House of Representatives, the Senate has concurred. How long will the people of Liberia wait now for the real thing to start happening?
Okay, so let me make some clarification because the experts in the Senate will kill me if I don't make that clarification. The House sent a resolution over to the Senate. The Senate sent a different resolution over back to the House.
Okay.
Right? So here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
We have reviewed with our lawyers the both resolutions, and we find them to be substantially the same. But given the time it took for the Senate to act, okay, we've already gotten majority signature to say, let's just adopt the Senate resolution. So that resolution is going to the President this afternoon after the House acts. So I just wanted to clarify that because some senators will be jittery when they say they concur. We have two competing resolutions. Both resolutions call for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court. Both resolutions talk about the implementation of the TRC. Those are the principal things we're going to find. Everything else is surplus language. I'm not prepared to engage in what corporate lawyers call battle of the forms, which is which form of which resolution should prevail. Both resolutions are of the same substance. And so since the Senate has tend to take a longer time in proceeding on these issues, we've already had the votes. Just when we got the instrument yesterday, I had about 30 reps who came to my office and signed onto the Senate resolution. That's what I'm going to put forward.
Okay, we now give the opportunity to the people of Liberia to speak to the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Ask your questions, and we want you to be very succinct in your questions because we don't have the luxury of time. We want to take more people. And so the call lines are 0770 603293, 0770 603293, 0886 603293. Again, 0886 603293, 0770603293. Those are the call lines, and we expect you to be very succinct with your calls. Honorable Speaker, we ask that you please put the headphone on so as you hear the callers. Sorry, trying to get the first person on, but okay. All right, just wait. Let me get this person on this line right here. Good morning. You want to speak? You want to speak up a bit louder?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I think the concept of going on that to make a new presentation with you.
Okay.
I want to tell the honorable man, what he said, you know, when you have everybody angle, but you know, I like what you just said, because that the best way how you each time you go to the president, because people when they go to the country, we try to do the right thing. On a wall, when the Koffa is the person that I love me what believe in, so I love me what told me that he's the person now.
Okay. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
This is Elijah Ray. I join you from District 7, West Point, to be specific.
Quickly, go ahead.
Okay, let me firstly use this medium to, applaud the honorable speaker, Fonati Koffa. The speakership has brought light to Liberia, and I think it is welcoming. We trust his ability, and Liberia did not make mistake, and even his colleague, the legislators, the House of Representatives, did not make mistake to give him the power to steer the affair as speaker. I want to say bravo to him. Let him lead Liberia and serve Liberia. There is no room for impunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. This person. Good morning. Sorry, just hold the line a bit. Trying to get this through. Okay, we can get this person on. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are calling for Central Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the speaker, the team spoke well. Yes, even me, I disagree with you yesterday, today, and I will continue to disagree with him if he keeps speaking like that. But this is why Unity Party grew up. This is why they planted and they will reap that soul. But reap the soul. I want to ask a question. I want to know if like you are the vehicle back in to establish code also Liberia. If not, if the code established in Liberia by the legislator, there will be because the speaker is the higher and final of in Liberia. These are my two concerns.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello?
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Caesar Morris. I'm calling from Cafe, Mystery Cinco.
Mm-hmm.
First, thank you to our speaker. I thanked that he's taking such a stand as to the recovery team. I think a lot of us ill advised on this. It should be first with these reports that have impacted a number of persons already. It should not be limited only to the city's administration. The thanks again the House. Hello? Hello?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello? The House and the Senate on the War Crimes Code. I think it is a step to heal our nation. All of us are affected.
Okay. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Are you getting me, Fidel?
Yeah, you alive. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. And let me say good morning to your colleagues there, Fidel. My name is Desmond U.J. Nimley, National Deputy Secretary General of the Alternative National Congress. Let me say thanks to the speaker this morning for the show. I like the way he delivered. The way he delivered his speech very well. This morning on the show, and the fact that he spoke to critical national issues in our country. We say thank you. We supported you, and we knew very well that you have done this. But Mr. Speaker, my attention has been drawn to the recent allegations by one of your colleagues. I'm sorry if I did not hear you say it because I just joined the conversation not too long ago. Representative Yeka called about objection number 10. an allegation he raised against the presidency concerning some 4,500 around there, gifts to some of the lawmakers to remove you from office. Again, allegedly by Representative Koffa, he made this allegation. I don't know whether he has reached your desk.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let's take another person. I guess the speaker has understood your question. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay.
Hello?
Sir, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Your name and where you call from? Hello? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Good morning to the Honorable Speaker.
Okay.
David E. Harris now call from Benson Street.
Let's hear you, David.
Honorable Speaker, when will we or should we expect a bill coming from the executive calling for this establishment of the court? Or when should we expect a bill from you calling for the establishment of the court? Can you explain to us?
Okay. Thank you, David. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. How are you this morning?
Well, good. Your name and where you call from?
Thank you. My name is Solomon Elchid Bolbo. I'm calling from Bon County, Banga City.
Okay.
My brother, this morning I want to say thank you, bravo to the speaker, honorable speaker this morning. I want to say thank you for him working in the interest of the Liberian people, not in the interest of the party, because I just listened to him. And I'm going to pray that God will strengthen you to do more for our country, Liberia. Thank you for your program.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Nathaniel Estapasina. I'm calling you from Ghana to the South community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let me say good morning to the speaker. You people have asked questions when it comes to our city ordinance. Though we got a city mayor for the Central Mororo, the Peace and the rest of the other cities in the country. Because there are rumors around that people will be taken out of the street, not to sell on the street. And then we understand that this is the tradition that we have been practicing. If we try to in such new measure is a problem. Can he, the speaker, please step into this issue to see how better they can reconstruct the strategy to see how the people can find a way where to do business. And last generation, please, the generation, please call the MCC to open the press motto.
Okay.
Because when they do it, they want to come for it, please. I beg you people, please, please call them now.
Okay. All right. We'll call them, yeah? 0770 603-293 0886-603-293. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Well, my name is Patrick Eastman, and I want to say good morning to the speaker.
Good morning, brother.
Yes, he just responded to you. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm concerned about the recent committee established by the speaker that was sent at B Mountain. Can the speaker be bringing up to speed? How far are we in regards to those people who lost their lives? And can you just tell us, please? And the next one is, in recent days, we had a head of African in Liberia. We've been complaining about a lot of missteps about the MDA for companies that are operating here, concession companies that are operating in Liberia. Were you privileged to have met the head of African the executive chairman? If yes, what are some of those things that was channeled to him to help improve the life of Liberians?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Peter, and good morning to your co-host, and good morning to the speaker in your studio.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Hussein Kew, and I pull in from around Jacob County District 2. I listened to the speaker, and let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Bama William, and I join you from my district, 13 resident of Pisani Tubo Village.
Okay.
And let me say good morning to our honorable speaker. My concern has been drawn to the issue of the war crime code. Do Liberia prepare for the issue of war crime code? We have any security forces like that we will guarantee for the war crime code. Number two, we have lawyers or judges at our court that we can depend on to carry on those trials. Consider the war crime court.
Okay.
Because these days we hear people say, "Oh, the Supreme Court, if you don't get money, you don't win case. If you do the one, you don't do the one." So will we trust our court to carry on the issue of war crime code in this country?
Okay,
outside this
thank you.
country?
Thank you.
That's my question.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Let me say good morning to the Honorable Speaker. I'm in Monrovia. My name is Theophilus. He took himself on.
Just speak out a bit louder, Theophilus, please.
Okay, I'm in Monrovia, and I speak officially for the Kwakakons think tank. So, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the deliberations. And since you took over the speakership, I think you are doing extremely well. It is not because you sat with my administration. I would want to see a very robust speaker, though in the interest of the country, because I know Mr. Parker administration come to serve this particular country. Mr. Speaker, this is where my attention is shown, this war and economic crimes code. And I listened to some conversations from senators.
Kindly be a bit more succinct, please. We don't have that luxury of time.
Okay. Yes, sir. So when you look at the point is, will the war crime code be established in Liberia? If it is established in Liberia, and for example, Theophilus is found guilty, can Theophilus take a appeal to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is the highest court in the land? Any other court in Liberia is under the Supreme Court.
Okay, thank you. Okay, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good.
This is Sector Stopper. I call from Central Monrovia. There are two things I want to ask about.
Quickly.
The resolutions, are they okay for the establishment of war and economic crimes code, or there should be a bill that will be introduced on the floor of the National Legislature vis-a-vis the House of Representatives before going to the Senate? That's what I want to know from the Speaker.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's take calls from this line. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Victor P. Pablo, coming in Sergeant Play. I'm calling in from Badger Fracture to be precise, that weekend. Well, I'm so proud of our Speaker in the House. It was not by mistake he elected him at that position. I love all of the questions he answered, and I just called to say kudos to him. I want him to keep it up. I also love to pray for him. I pray that God should continue to guide him and fill him with more wisdom and understanding, and let him be able to do the best for Liberia. Speaker, I always want you to remain focused, do not mind the noise in the market, and remain focused to do the Liberian people work.
Thank you.
I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. Have a good and godly day, and may God bless Mama Liberia and save our state, that you guys still have a good and godly working day.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you
doing, sir?
Good morning.
Thank you. Let me say good morning to the Speaker. We said live from Ghana. You know, Mr. Speaker, let me congratulate you about your victory about the speakership. We ran that campaign, and you get that today. And my brother, let me ask a question to Mr. Speaker. Bringing war crime code will really make the country transform. I don't know. If war crime code will make Liberia transform.
Okay, it's a question.
I come in before I start the land. Again, I was going through because
No, my man, we can't do what I want. Good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, thank you, Chris Emmanuel and Christian. I do join this morning from District 17 Brazil.
Okay, please put a little life in your voice.
Yeah, thank you. Let me say good morning to the Speaker. This morning I have questions to the Speaker. The question of the way we know in our working, he has a preview of putting people on various committee. Mr. Speaker, will you do reshuffle in your committee wherein those who are placed on various committee today, they are not performing to the expectation of the Liberian people?
Okay.
That is the question.
All right. You're asking the Speaker whether you will do reshuffle. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm MacArthur Jalaju. I'm calling from Bartlersville.
Let's hear you, my brother.
Okay, speaking to the issue of implementation of the TRC recommendation, I want to ask the Speaker as to whether he still is convenient to use the draft statute of the draft statute of the War Economic Crime Code
within the CRC recommendation other than waiting for a framework from the executive for the establishment of the code. Because in the Senegal CRC report, there is a draft statute for the World Economic Crime Code. So
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Momo Bikane. I'm calling from New Georgia, the Holy Land. Yeah, I want to make a point on two issues, and that is, the first point is that our former President George Manneh Weah was denied from using the primary Weah VIP Lodge, which was built by him. When he came to Liberia, he was denied to use the VIP Lodge. That's one thing I would like for the speaker to speak about that. The second thing is that a student who was attached to Yeke Fodba, you know, that girl feature is, you know, at a detriment. That is, that girl feature with Yeke Fodba, it has been criticized to the fullest. It has been said that, you know, they are in something different, and Unity Parties are carrying it all around the country, supporting the gang integrity and other things. So I will let for the House of Representatives, what is the current thing that they are discussing about that?
Okay.
Because,
Thank you. We hear you. Good morning.
yeah, good morning.
Yep.
I want to say a pleasant good morning to the speaker. My name is Yu Jawi. I call from Provi. Honorable Speaker, God just input concerning those that were removed from their jobs, or question, concerning those that were removed from their job from the Ministry of State, 730 persons were removed from their job. And up to date, the government is refusing to pay them up and give their benefit. Can you please intervene into the situations and have those people get their benefits and their salary, because they owe them 3 months and refuse to pay them?
Okay. We hear you. Let's take another person. You've made your point. On this line right here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Asan Kawa and I'm joining from Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my question has to do with an area from Memphis which relates to the shoreline. We have a Fulani that bought an alley that he built on, and he condemned the entire alley shoreline where he found his people in the community living in feces in people water. So I don't know what can we do or how can we address these issues concerning the community.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good morning to you, Fidel, and good morning to your colleagues. Yeah, let me appreciate you this morning, Fidel, for the kind of specific interview that you are conducting in the control of the show. Yes, but my concern had to do with the speaker, my little disagreement.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to address I'm Philip Kisami, I joined Concawa District 15. My issue is the speaker trying to say that because the ICS recovery team is not going back to 20 years ago, it means it is a witch hunt, or because they are going after past government officials and is what can condemn? So can you address that? Because they did not go back to 20 years ago assets recovery, and in the last 6 years they are recovering those assets. It is a witch hunt. Can you address that?
Okay. Point well made. Thank you so much. We'll take one more call and then we'll go to the speaker. Good morning.
I'm Jonathan Stewart. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. With NEC having less than 900 employees, can they, the mandate of the hustle given them by the government of Liberia, 15 counties electrified, they have less than 900 employees. Can they meet the efficiency, equitable and reliable connection services?
Okay, thank you. Honorable Speaker, you can kindly respond to the inquiries made by the callers.
Okay, so I will categorize them. Most of your questions are on the issue of the World Economic Crime Code. Let's talk about infrastructure. Now that we have a resolution, the next phase of this is developing what kind of infrastructure we're going to have. That is, what kind of statute. They said there's a statute with the TRC report. I've seen various other statutes. What kind of court, whether it's going to be an international court or a local court. In order for an international court to operate in our jurisdiction, we have to enable it. If it is a local court, it's not going to escape the appellate jurisdiction of the Supreme Court of Liberia, which is the highest court of the land. Security guarantees, we have had initial discussions which give security guarantees will come from the ECOWAS region and from the United States of America. Whether or not this will make Liberia better, my answer to that question is 500% absolutely. Because we are not going to have a better Liberia if we do not have a Liberia based on the rule of law. And the rule of law is that people must be accountable for their actions. Even if we forgive you after you pay your price, which happens in every country, which I'm also have been a beneficiary of, you must be accountable for your actions. This will make Liberia better. We talk about vouchers. I've already addressed that. I've asked the executive mansion that they should, I believe I have recommended to them, they should investigate this because this is a potential Achilles heel. Some people should not be receiving money from the executive mansion and others don't. We have a situation where we operate through our budget and any transfers of funds should be done that way. I think it's an issue that needs to be investigated, but the executive mansion has denied that this document came from them. Selling on the street, I think the Liberian people voted for the rescue agenda. If part of that is to clean up the streets of Monrovia, I'm not going to be opposed to it. Yes, there will be a bill for the War Crimes Court. The resolution itself does not enable the court. We will have a statute. B-Mountain, the House endorsed a report that came out last week from the Specialized Committee, which found B-Mountain involved substantial violation of its MDA. There were a number of recommendations that were made in that report. That report has been now sent to the Office of the President, to the Minister of Justice, to the head of the Bureau of Concessions, to the Minister of Labor and other line ministries who are responsible for that. It is a sad indication that there are aspects of the agreement which benefit the people of Cape Town that have not been implemented since it was signed 13 years ago. That is sad. People should honor their social corporate responsibility before they start making profits, or even as they are making profits in Liberia. ArcelorMittal, I woke up in the morning and saw that Mr. Lashmi Mittal was going to be in Liberia. I looked at my schedule, he wasn't on it. I didn't see him, and that's what it is. Reshuffling of committee. So our rule says, once you get a committee assignment, you are appointed for 3 years. I do not have they do not serve at my will and pleasure. I cannot reshuffle them. Once we assign them, they are there for 3 years. After 3 years, we evaluate performance and we make adjustments as we need to. The use of the VIP launch. Look, I said in one of my meetings, this is why African presidents don't turn over power. You know, we should stop these petty things, right? And a lot of people disagree. Yes, let's assume it's the VIP lounge that exists is exclusively for the use of the president. The president doesn't live there. This is the immediate past president arriving from his first international trip. Nothing would have hurt the country if for that one time he used that VIP lounge, and then you send the protocol people to him and say, Mr. President, you know, in the future you will have access to this lounge and not that one. Nothing with power going to happen in the country, okay? To make George Weah, who for the first time in the history of Africa, anybody considered election before the king and brother resolved, whether opposition or ruling party, okay, a man that everybody respected. Nothing was going to happen to the country to many people that day when he was arrived. I think it was a sad day for the country. It was very bad. I understand what the procedure will be. The president of Liberia was not traveling that day. The president of Liberia was nowhere near that place. This is the immediate past president. This is his first trip back to the country. You let him use the VIP lounge, and then you advise his people in the future. This place is reserved only for the president. Nothing bad was going to happen. I thought that was a misstep on the part of the government. We shouldn't be involved in this. This is one Liberia. The president and I were at his church one day, and he made a profound statement. We need to change the tone. We need to change the way we deal with each other. We need to be a more conciliatory people. That was the message the president pointed out. And I hope that message filtered down into the officials of government, into those who are now in power and running the government. Let's stop some of these. Nothing bad is going to happen by the use of that VIP lounge. The girl in the Honorable Yeke posting, I think she needs protection. Honorable Yeke is correct. It is sad that all these women groups that can make noise on all issues did not talk about the public exposure and the outing of that little child. I'm disappointed in them, and I think, yes, the girl should be protected. People who lost their jobs at the Ministry of State, we are in ongoing conversation with the executive mansion so you get your just benefit. Asset recovery, look, I'm getting some text that maybe my language about which one was too strong. I wanted to convey in the strongest term that I think the asset recovery mechanism is on the wrong track. It should be a more professional track, and I think we are warned by the fact that the first case at the asset recovery at the Supreme Court, they had to concede. Even they conceded that they were proceeding wrongly, and they will come back and proceed in the right fashion.
Do you still stand by what you said, that it is a wish hunt?
Yes, a statute that says, even though it could be expanded, that says we are going only after this group of people has the appearance of a wish hunt, because it should be an open-ended executive order, right? If you find Liberian assets that were misappropriated in 1979, this asset recovery team should have the jurisdiction to go after it. Why just from 2018? So it's the appearance. We should have this is not only about what is actually done, it is the appearance to other Liberians who serve in government that we are not just coming after you, we are going after the principle of misappropriation. So I think the executive order needs to be retweaked, reorganized. The asset recovery team needs to be focused. They need to get some professional organization assistance. They need to read Rufus Berry's article of April 24th. We all learn things every day, especially if that's not our core business. That article spells out very clearly what asset recovery is about. Grant Thornton and other international firms are good at this. Let's get their assistance to make sure that asset recovery is done in a manner that recover assets of the Republic of Liberia wherever they might be from, no matter what time they were misappropriated. LEC, I don't know what to say about that. I think when I woke up this morning, my generator was still.
Okay, let's take another round of calls. The last round of calls, by the way, and then we'll go around the table. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so kindly. This is Pascal Davis from District 6. Let me say big thanks to the speaker, but I have a concern related to the asset recovery. You know, the asset recovery requested a special amount in the tune of a little over 1.9 million. And I want to ask the speaker as to whether the asset recovery team will be able to receive, if not all of the funding, or a portion of that funding, because we understand that they've already begun their work. If they've started their work, it means they must have gotten some funding. Are you concerned as the speaker as to whether they receive some of the funding they requested for? If yes, where did the funding come from?
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
So, good morning.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Good morning. My name is Fred Iwia, and I phoned in for Electoral 14. And let me say good morning to the Speaker of the Republic of Liberia, and good morning to his good.
We don't have the luxury of time. Go ahead quickly, my brother.
And my question goes to the Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, as the Speaker of the 55th Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, and being an honorable man, how do you feel if an honorable man behave dishonorably, and what effect does it have on the House of Representatives as the Republic of Liberia? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's take this person on this line. Sorry about that. We take 3 more calls and then we'll go around the table. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for the conversation. I'm Joseph from Virginia, and I joined from a resident on 12th Street.
Okay.
I want to say thank you to the Honorable Speaker, but I have 2 concerns.
Quickly.
I want to know what he made of the allegation from Senator Prince Johnson that the House of Representatives received 230 million to protest the bill. Number one. Number two, I want to know when are we going to expect a bill from the House if the executive branch are failing to submit a bill? When are we going to expect a bill from the House of Representatives? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep.
My name is David Wamanima, and I'm calling from district number 5, Red Lights.
Okay.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. My attention has been drawn to your issue on the revenue. If I listen to you correctly, you said you're going to pressurize the LRA boss by all means to raise enough revenue to see how best we can appropriate those funds from ministries and agencies. Are you telling me that because the LRA boss said there are loopholes, you're expecting now to close those loopholes and raise revenue to reach 1 billion? Please clarify that area for me.
Okay. All right. Honorable George Moba, former lawmaker, was trying to call in, and I hope he can call back. Let's take him on the line. This person makes it the third person. Good morning. Sorry, let me get you through properly. The lines are jamming. Good morning. Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm teacher. Calling from the Poro. Good morning to the speaker. I want to ask a question to the speaker. This on focus on district number 9 said that he want to impeach the president. He said that he has voted the speaker. What did the speaker say about that?
Okay, thank you. Let's take this person. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm I call you from Fonati community.
Yep.
Yeah, my question goes to the speaker. I really want to know, during the past regime of back off, I saw that of protestation around here, and there was nobody who was harmed by any security, state security. But quite recently, just less than 60 days, the UL student had a protest, and people found themselves at the hospital in the Kinjo, Go mining area. People had a protest, and then at the end of the day, we saw dead people, we saw people at the hospital. As we speak currently, people are still in those kind of critical condition. What is the speaker intend to do something about those things and telling the president about this is what the bad president rejected and this is what is happening in your regime?
Okay, thank you. We'll take the last person, and then, yep. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yep. Yep.
Good morning to our honorable speaker. Honorable speaker, my question to you: when do we
Your name?
David E. Harris Nakwa.
No, David, let's replace it with another person you've already called in. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yes, this is Mr. To from Central Mogoga.
Mr. Tu.
My
Quickly.
my attention has been to the issue about the Southeastern Road. Because I get from the brother I was going, unfortunately, the we break on or from Sano to Glen Crew. The road is very bad in the speaker and weather. So my question to him, what are you doing to work with Waka and the 300 million that have been back for the Southeastern Road on where? What are you doing to work on that road? And he know what I'm talking about because he's from the same side.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, you've made your point. I want to give this special dispensation to Honorable Josh Moba, since he's a former lawmaker, to have an interaction with you quickly. Let me get him through the line this morning. I'm trying to get him through, but this is a special interview with the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Jonathan Fonati Koffa, and we have been aired on several radio stations in Liberia and across other parts of the country. I'm trying to get Honorable George Moba on the line. If I can't, of course, then we call it a day right here on the call lines. I just can't get him through. Guys. Honorable Koffa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and respond to the inquiries. Yeah, no.
Okay, so the first question was about the asset recovery. Yes, I have heard or seen in interviews where they said they need 1.9 million. But remember, the budget request from the president is for 1.5 million. How were they funded? In my understanding, according to, this is private sources, that the asset recovery team has not spent a dime of government money. The Public Accounts Committee were accepting that fact at some point. Dishonorable behavior, and you know, everybody trying to focus on Honorable Yeke, and that behavior is subject to complaint. But what about behavior of members on the floor? Can also be dishonorable. I was in the States watching the Deputy Speaker, Koffa, presiding. At one point, I could hardly understand what was going on because of this honorable behavior on the floor. And I got a couple of calls from people who knew I was in the US that they couldn't follow the proceedings on the floor. So my colleagues, it's not just in what we say against people, it's how we behave on the floor. Our people expect us to come here and behave, in the words of the former speaker, decorously. Okay? So I think it's incumbent upon all of us. You see, I usually caution my colleagues that we allow certain degree of consultation on the floor because it has to go on. Somebody is deliberating or somebody wants to proffer a motion, he wants to consult some of his colleagues, so that is allowed. But just the unruly disrupting the flow, I think is also a form of dishonorable behavior. And then our behavior when we are outside, when we are in public, also spells that. So it's not only honorable. Koluba is incumbent upon all of us to act honorably at all times, or at least do our best to do so. Money for signing war crimes resolution. And I can say this more emphatically. I'm sure Senator Prince Johnson did not say 230 million because they had received 1% of 230 million. We won't be in this interview. I'll be on some island relaxing after signing for that kind of money. Nobody offered and nobody accepted a dime to sign that resolution. To make that allegation is an attempt to diminish the vigor and determination of the members of the House of Representatives, and I think it's wrong for the senator to cast that aspersion without one iota of proof. It is simply not true. I am not pressuring the LRA boss about revenue. The LRA boss said voluntarily, on his own, several times, quoted in papers that he can raise 1 billion. And I'm glad for that because I said we need to spend that 1 billion. That's all I said. Impeachment, understand one thing, I do not have control over what any lawmaker says. We have in this country freedom of speech. There's not an impeachment bill on the floor. There's not one that has been presented. There's not one that has been contemplated at this time. We are just not in that direction. What Honorable Foko says as a matter of his own freedom of speech and his right as a lawmaker is something we're going to protect. But that is not before me at this time. Protest, again, each government will deal with protests in the form and manner that it sees fit to protect the national security. This is the rescue agenda. We are going to follow and support this attempt to secure the state. The Southeast Road, that's one of the reasons why I have not been home. It's a misnomer to say that there was $300 million available for that road. We do intend to put some money in there to begin the coastal highway that will connect the Southeast to the rest of Liberia, and we look forward to funding that process over the next 6 years. Thank you very much.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, I think there are several other concerns, Mr. Speaker, from some of the folks who are also following that wants to push some of these points forward. Musu Kiadi says, Mr. Speaker, could you do a partial appraisal of the conduct of the president and, if possible, predict what the future will look like based on existing trends?
The conduct of the president, I'm not prepared to do such a appraisal. I think that when people voted for President Kawaikai, I think in his public demeanor and even in our private interactions, I have no reason to question his veracity or his sincerity to lead Liberia to where he visioned, and most Liberian vision, he talked about paved roads, he talked about good hospitals, he talked about good schools, and I have no reason to doubt that, and that's why we are going to ensure that the budget he presented matches what he has said.
Honorable Speaker, I remember as far back as 2013, an engineer from the Milton and Riches, one of Liberia's revered engineering firms, came in the building here and observed lawmakers partitioning the whole building, busting the floor and taking up tiles and what have you. And he expressed an opinion. He said that posed a threat to the structural integrity of the building. Since 2013 up to the in fact, even escalated. As we speak, people are still doing it. So, what is the leadership doing to address that? Because that opinion that was expressed stated that in the future, we might experience something undesirable if that is not stopped. The second point is the NSA has reportedly invited your colleague on the Koffa. Is that to your knowledge? Because we know that when the executive functionaries are dealing with lawmakers here, they will always put the leadership in the know.
Okay, so on the issue of the structure, that is why in the budget we intend to fund an annex. We will try to put up another annex on the grounds of the Capitol for leadership, so we can free up some of this space. We have advised members it's dangerous to partition or to do reconstruction in a building without proper engineer opinion, and we'll continue to monitor and police that prospect. As I said, one of the things we do enjoy good working relationship with the executive. They have given me notice anytime they need to speak to any of our members in the law enforcement capacity. The NSA did come and see me and asked to have an interview with Honorable Koffa. I called him and offered, he declined. And so at that point, my job was complete.
Mr. Speaker, do you have an opinion on the tenure position saga?
Yes. So remember, there's a little bit of historicity to this. The tenure thing really went into full swing near the close of the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. That's when these tenure positions were created. In 2022, I believe, the House passed a bill that eliminated most of these tenure positions and reserved a few. That bill did not pass the Senate, so it died in the 54th. There are two kinds of employees. There are Article 56 employees, which are will and pleasure employees of the president. Then there are Article 89 employees, which in the nature of the GAC, the National Election Commission, suggest these are tenured positions, okay? And I think there may be Supreme Court decisions on this. But this is a rule of law issue. You can't appoint somebody in a tenured position until the person in that position has been removed, okay? That is my opinion. And I still think if the executive mansion shares the view that there are certain positions that should not be tenured, and I believe there are a lot of positions that should not be tenured, then let's fix the law first before you start appointing the people. Because as we stand now, there are certain positions you have appointed, and I'm not trying to single him out, like the maritime boss, okay, that I do not believe should be tenured. I think the executive mansion will have an opinion that should not be a tenured position. But you have now appointed a boss who is now tenured. Okay, so you are exacerbating the same problem. So let's quickly fix the law, determine those who need to be tenured and those not, remove for cause if they have to be, those who have to be removed. And look, you just have to live with some people because we have to live in the confines of the law, right? We have to live with some undesirable situations in government because the law says these people have tenure. There is no need to start appointing people to positions where people already have tenure. The Senate has done the honorable thing, as we have seen, with all the noise about tenure. the Senate has not scheduled for confirmation hearing one individual who has been appointed to a tenure position that was not vacant. So we are moving in the right direction in terms of the legislature. I think the executive needs to go one step further, define which positions you want to be tenure, which positions you don't want to be tenure. Let's enact it into a statute, then you proceed on what to do next. But I think the whole tenure regime at this point is in court simply because there were missteps on what should come first. And this is not even a chicken or egg question. I think the first thing we should have done was to fix the law.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Time is fast spent, and we'd like to say thanks to you for giving us 2 hours of your time this morning. I think we've expanded on a lot of issues. Your parting comments, please.
Okay, so I just want to say this. There will be occasional times where I may do off-the-cuff interviews. I think my role is not to be here to be an advocate or so. I will do these things quarterly on where there are issues of national concern. My job, and I work best when I work what people call behind the scenes. I have a lot to do with coordination. I appreciate my colleagues, but you do not understand. Very few people will appreciate how very difficult it is to lead the House of Representatives and build consensus on every issue. We do not command our colleagues, we persuade them, and building consensus, getting things done is how we like to work it, and the more we work behind the scenes, the better for us. It is not running away from you, who are members of the press, the first, in the fourth estate. Ask us any question you want to, but our official interviews are going to be quarterly. Thank you for the public out there, to those who may have offended, or anything we may have said, or if we in any way misstate any fact, please accept my apologies. These things are not rehearsed, and so we are likely to say one or two things that may piss some people off. Other than that, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you folks in Radio Land and our visual partners. Thank you all of the radio stations that air this program. My name is Fidel City, and of course, Robert Jiba, Vesely Small, Tatas, Desi, and Jerome Kamwe.